So again, thanks for coming. We've got a lot to cover off. This year has been a really exciting year. I started this year by going to Amsterdam for what's called SUG.
One person watching. That's one person watching.
One person watching. Yeah. Hi, honey.
Thanks, guys. So, as Luke said, I'm the UX and XD director here. So I sit sort of halfway between strategy and design. Get involved in a lot of sort of CX activity as well. So understanding these businesses, trying to translate that into something that you guys can use from a technical perspective. So I thought what I'd do, I can't come at you with anything as technical as what you've just been sort of treated to by these guys. So I just thought I'd give you a bit of a sort of view of the other side of the fence, so to speak, so the work that we do. It's trying to make moments that matter. So by this what we mean is just those sort of meaningful sort of digital experiences that are going to resonate with customers, with users, but ultimately sort of turn the dial for the businesses that we all work for. So there's one thing I do want to apologise for as well. This isn't specifically a Sitecore thing, there's a bit of a Dolby as well, so please don't shoot the message. So this is just a bit of upfront platitude, just to say that our CX teams design end-to-end experiences that ensure clients are connected across all channels and touch points. Yeah. But the way we try and do it is in a way that customers expect to interact with brands today. This has been the big movement. What it's done is taken us from this situation that's kind of been in place for many years. Ever since the dawn of advertising, what we've always tried to do is make money for the business, shift the dial for the business, always work for the man. But now where we're at, the customer owns that brand experience. They're the people that dictate how businesses should run. And we hold this guy up as being one of our heroes. Love him or hate him, this guy is amazing. You can see this is just one of the quotes that we like to sort of trot out occasionally. And it's all to do with the fact that Jeff Bezos believes he's built his quite sizable empire by always going for what the customer needs. And he believes that he's successful not when somebody buys his service, it's when somebody uses his service or his product. So he said, above all else, align with customers when they win and only when they win. So yeah, he's a bit of a hero. And just to sort of throw it back a little bit towards what you guys have been talking about tonight. He was talking about personalization 20 years ago. And there's a quote that I pulled out here. So he was asked by somebody to describe what he meant by personalization. This was in like the year 2000 or something. And he said it's when you go into a bar and sit down, the bartender puts a whiskey in front of you without you even having to ask for one. That's his definition of personalization from 20 years ago. So yeah, he kind of knows what he's doing. So how do we do this type of work? I'll just give you a little bit of an insight into how we do it. It's a great experience design is informed by evidence-based context, understanding what users actually need. The more context we have about all influences of the experience, the better decisions we can make for our audiences. So we usually turn to journey mapping to a certain extent, large or small. It kind of sits behind a lot of what we do. And the way that we get to that, obviously lots of upfront research. We try and lean on the research that's already been done by a business because businesses have invested massively in their research over the last few years. So we always try and scrape that first before we try to design any other research sort of projects around it. That goes into mapping, which I'll show you some examples of. This is critical to us as well. We always try and go that extra level with journey mapping and create opportunities off the back of what we're seeing in those journeys, because that's something that's actionable by the customer. So just give you a quick sort of overview of a basic map process. This is something that we did for an education institute in Australia, the DKID. It's one of the journey maps of a student. So typically frame them up like this. It might be they're unaware, then they consider, then they decide what courses to do, then they apply, there's a waiting period, and they sign up and start with their education. The swim lanes that sit beneath each of those, so there's a sort of what we say is an above the water line and a below the water line. So above the water line is the customer's actions, pain points and needs at each stage in this journey. Below the water line, and equally important, is how the business responds to deliver the experience that's required in each of these steps. So with that as the sort of theory, this is one of the many maps that we generated for Beacon, so you can see that process played out there. You can see the journey that they went through: awareness, discovery, exploration, application for a course and then completion. We sort of measured the tension in terms of their emotional state. You can also see their key needs, and you can see the business's key needs, importantly, against these. So the business needs to deliver on these by delivering on these. But as I mentioned before, importantly, we always add this extra layer of opportunities and principles. And these don't just relate to digital, these relate to people, processes, systems, the way that the business itself can respond and react, change the way that it works to deliver this experience. So what I thought I'd do with that sort of in the back is kind of show you a similar process applied to Nissan in Australia. The reason for doing this is that it resulted in quite a neat sort of innovation technical project that you guys might see some value in because of the way you work with Sitecore. So yeah, Nissan, similar process: research, mapping, opportunities, strategy, and it's a design and build. So the first part of the research, very, very high level landscape context. That's customer loyalty first, 67 vehicle brands in Australia. So how can Nissan continually build customer loyalty with all of those other vehicle brands in the face of those customers? In terms of mobile, obviously a big talking point. 60% of auto buyers surveyed indicated they use a smartphone. That's no surprise. But how can Nissan leverage that to take advantage of the trend? And then finally, in terms of brand consistency, there's 300 franchises across Australia and New Zealand, lots of different sizes and types, all different styles of customer service. So how can Nissan keep its sort of perception of its brand consistent across all of those different franchises? And where we got to was a bit of an oh shit moment when Nissan realised in the general sort of purchasing journey of getting a car, what always happens is once a customer has bought the car and they drive off, the car brand has lost contact with that customer. They don't have any contact with them at all. So this was the big question: how can we help Nissan gain a clearer view of the customer's overarching experience and their relationship with the brand and protect it, foster it, keep it alive? So again, same process. Lots of journey mapping in terms of the car purchasing journey, but going on into ownership as well, importantly. So not just stopping at the point where the guy pays his money, or they pay the money, but actually going to ownership. So what is this ownership experience? You can also see it over here. Yes, it's Adobe. But what we've done is the communication opportunities, or generally the opportunities, and how technology can respond to those opportunities and delivering them to benefit these needs across this customer journey. So all of that was done. Great project. The client loved it. It's now being used to align lots of siloed teams on their side. So there's a sort of alignment diagram. Different teams can look at different points of the journey and go, we think we can make a difference there. We think we can tweak that process. So the big question still remains: how can Nissan retain this sort of contact with the customer after they've bought the car, when they're enjoying being car owners, being Nissan owners? So we came back to the customer journey. Right at the very end, right at the bottom, there's this little thing: scheduled servicing reminders. And we found out a lot about that particular subject. We're talking to the drivers themselves, it was quite a proactive thing on their part. They had to go through the effort of booking their car in and all of that sort of stuff. And some people would just not bother because they're too busy. And Nissan thought, well, do you know what? We think we can make a difference here. So we took that as a challenge, and we got our R&D team involved. So AKQA is a sort of networked agency. We have a distributed R&D function, and I know you've probably heard that a lot from various agencies. Maybe have some clever tech stuck in a corner somewhere, and they call it a lab. But we actually do have a lab, and it's got all kinds of gizmos and stuff in there. It's just like an Aladdin's cave. So this is where our R&D team hang out. And what we do is we throw them a challenge, and then they set up a 3-week sprint. 3-week sprints consist of, so firstly it's the research, and in this instance the research isn't customer research, it's technology research, really. It's the feasibility and viability of what's out there from emerging tech, existing tech. How can we bring it to bear in delivering something that's not happening or doesn't exist yet? So we then go through into the develop. So literally this is just rapid prototyping, smashing together some things that can be tested just to see if there's, the sort of the essence of the solution there. That's both physical and it's code-based as well. And then finally, the documentation. This is often something that gets missed. You do all of this work, you get to a point of, yes, this is going to deliver, then it needs to be captured. This is tested, it needs to be documented. So the client's got that value. It can be given to any developer, anywhere, to be stood up and built and developed. So that's their 3-week sprint process. So back to the key challenge. How might Nissan leverage the power of emerging technologies or converging technologies to create useful, connected, robust, personalised experiences for drivers? I write this stuff all the time. I know it's a bit awful, but it's structured like a user story. You guys have seen this sort of thing before, a lot more boiled down. But this is the sort of thing that we as an XD team can respond to as well. So the user story thing is pretty universal. So this is where we got to. Thinking about the in-car experience, for many of us here, we've got the mobile phone in the car, and because obviously you're not supposed to drive while you're using the phone, we're starting to see a lot more speech, or the sort of wanky XD term is zero UI. But we're starting to see a lot more sort of voice-activated services in cars. So first of all, that's something that we thought we could build on. And when you think about the sort of proliferation of sensors and Internet of Things, and we've got some of these things in our houses, but it's a bit of a slow burn. But we're slowly getting there. It's still seen as quite a new thing. So being able to raise your garage door when the house senses your car driving towards it, security cameras that automatically turn on it and send you the image if they suspect there's something in your house, etc. It's all very sort of interesting stuff. It's still got a long way to go. But in your car, this has been happening for years. There's lots of sensors, lots of automation, and there's this universal thing, the OBD, that sits at the heart of most of the cars that are out there at the moment. So that was our big sort of inroad into something interesting we can play with. We've got voice, we've got a universal interface. So what can we do?
What's the step?
I think onboard diagnostic.
Did you know that? Yeah, something diagnostic. So this is the sort of interesting technologies that can be connected together to create something that's innovative that hasn't existed before. Sorry. But the power of Adobe Marketing Cloud or AEM, you could easily transplant Sitecore into that picture and it would sit there perfectly well. So you think about Google Speech API, speech to text, connecting it through Watson to have it all sort of converted into some sort of conversation service, hooking it into Marketing Cloud for various reasons, which will become clear in a second. But obviously it's the car itself that is the sort of the instigator and the source, and the receiver of all of this experience. There's a little video that sort of puts it all into context for you.
Hello, listen.
Hello Tom, what can I help you with?
What's that light?
That's the service due light. You have driven 20,000 kilometers since your last service. It might be time for a checkup. Would you like to know more?
Yeah, remind me when my Nissan was last serviced.
Your Navara STX was last serviced 6 months ago at Dandenong Nissan. Would you like me to book you in there again?
Yeah, please do.
I can also arrange a courtesy car. Looks like a Navara 2017 model would be the best fit. Does that suit you?
Yeah, sounds good.
Based on your calendar, and the next available booking is Tuesday the 14th of March. Does that work for you?
Could you make it Wednesday?
Booking in for Wednesday 15th of March. Is this correct?
Yep.
Thanks Tom. You will receive an email to confirm. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Not today, thanks.
Thanks Tom. Have a great day.
So as you can see, his experience there, he's done all of that stuff that his hands even with. All of those connected technologies have allowed him to query what that sort of fault is with his car, which is then interrogated some database somewhere that's responded with his service one. He's been able to book a service and have a confirmation back to his own personal calendar. He's then been able to query sort of the availability of a replacement car, and then he's booked that as well. But that's, I mean, for us, that was a really lovely way to sort of create this connected experience that just simplifies things for that guy. So from Nissan's perspective, they've seen this, absolutely loved it. It's gone into production now. But in terms of delivering on the key challenge, what it now means is that for him, that's actually Nissan talking to him. It's not the dealer, it's actually Nissan. So we built that connection back, and then we can start to build on it again using similar technologies. So there you go. I just thought I'd give you a bit of an insight into kind of a broader piece that we get involved in. This is probably not applicable to most in the room, but it's just some key takeaways from this type of project. So I'll always start with what matters most to customers, not what matters most to the business. If we get it right for the customers, ultimately we get it right for the business. Journey maps, don't just map a journey and walk away, actually make them actionable. So what does this mean? Is it an opportunity? Can technology deliver on this? And so forth. Leveraging existing tech as well. Don't need to just turn to emerging tech and new shiny things. You know, there's a lot of powerful technology out there that the clients are already sitting on that we can leverage. And then opportunities. No need to boil the ocean. If you've done the first bit right, as you can see from the Nissan journey map, it was just a tiny little thing right at the end of the journey that we've been able to deliver on. And there was hundreds of them. So that's the kind of benefit of just focusing in, really zeroing in on knowing customer need. So that's me. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Nel.